Alright, we're on episode 2-ish of Super Duty axle swapping, my 1971 F100. So I wasn't planning on quite doing it just yet, but the wheel sold, so it no longer rolls. So I figured probably now's the best time to do it. So before I strip this all off and get the old axles and everything out, I have my Super Duty axles all prepped and everything like in the last video. I'm just gonna re-gear them and then we're gonna throw them in. I got Motive gears. It was like a kit off eBay. I think it was like 900 bucks for the front and back, and it comes with the install kit and everything. And they're 538 gears, and I'm gonna be running 40-inch tires with the Alibaba wheels. And then this is it's just a factory Super Duty locker that comes in like the 2011 plus trucks. And from my research, you know, allegedly they should go in the older axles. These are out of a 2008. So from probably very limited and amateur knowledge, I believe we just take these off and we pull the axle out, and we just need to pull it out a few inches. And then from there, we unbolt these 4 carrier bolts, and that assembly should come out. And I've seen people use like this spreader that mounts on the pumpkin, and it like, for lack of a better term, just spreads the pumpkin. Because I guess these are really hard to get in and out, but I don't have that. So probably gonna use a hammer. And then once we get this out, we should be able to take the pinion out. Hell yeah. Now, we need a pry bar. All right, and if my brief research has served me correctly, this should come right out. Oh my God, it's leaking oh my God. Oh my God. You know, if I was smart, I would have known that was gonna happen. What are you gonna do? Yep, it's still coming out. I'm just making an absolute mess. All right, brother. Got the other side here. I'm gonna speed run it. Oh yeah. Yeah, that one was stripped. We're gonna ignore that. Hell yeah. Record time. Hell yeah. I'll be honest with you, I had no idea that the cap and the axle was one piece. I thought this was just a cap and it just held in the axle, but it's just totally one piece. All right, now I'm gonna attempt to unbolt the carrier. So there's the 4 bolts, and I don't know what size it is, but a 13/16 fits good, so we're gonna send that. I don't know if those are loose or this impact's just really strong, but all right. So good so far. Okay, I'm gonna take them off just the exact way they go. I might need a little love. All right. And you guys keep in mind, I have no idea what I'm doing, so we're gonna wing it. This should come off, but from what I've seen, It looks very difficult to get out. So this is probably the part in the video where it's 30 seconds for you guys, but it's like 6 days for me. Oh. All right, so I got it. So what I did was I jammed my pry bar in there, and then I just gave it one of the, one of those. Very gentle, very subtle. I don't know what this is, but it came out. Oh, it's stuck again. You know the deal, we gotta... Yep. Oh. Oh my gosh, that is heavy. Okay. That came out way easier than I expected. But there you go. So now we just gotta flip the axle up, undo the pinion nut, probably beat the daylights out of that. Now we have to undo the pinion nut. This is 1 1/8" socket. So I don't know if when I undo this, if this is gonna pop right off or if it's pressed on or if I have to beat it. We'll find out though. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna put the axle back flat because I don't want that flying out. Because there's a bunch of shims and a crush washer and I don't really know how it goes back together. So I'm gonna give this bad girl a little love tap, see what happens. Yeah, it's not moving. Okay, not good. Okay, right. Oh no. Oh my God. I'm gonna ignore that whole scenario that just happened. So I was hitting this and it came out about 1 inch. So I just need to use another tap or two. Okay. Let's go around south right here. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I should be able to pull this thing out now. Okay, there you go. And if you can see right here, this is the crush sleeve. Everybody says these are a pain in the ass to set up, so I just bought a delete kit. So yeah, we're gonna figure this out. Next, I'm gonna be knocking out the pinion races. And as you can see, the inside one, that little groove on the bottom, you just get a punch and you hit it out there. And there should be one on the top as well. And then you just come from the other side and hit this front one out. Now, you should use a brass punch for this, but mine is lost, so I'm not gonna do that. Okay, that's making me nervous. I might just get a brass punch. I wasn't able to film it because it was dark and kind of a pain in the butt. But I got them both out. And as you can see, this is the inner race, the larger one. And as you can see, it is thinner than the new one. So that's something to double check, because you're gonna have to have an extra race for a setup race, because you're gonna have to grind the outside of this down so it can easily slide in and out of there, so you can put shims behind it to get the proper pattern. So what I did, I just went on Amazon and I typed in that part number, HM807010, and I just got another race that matches the new one I have, so I can have the right setup race. All right, so I just ground down the outside of the inner race just with a flapper wheel. And now you can see that it will, at least in theory, it should. There we go. It should just drop right in like that, and you should be able to pull it out. It should be loose but snug, just so you can pull it out by hand, because you're gonna need to take that in and out to get the pinion depth right. And I was told by somebody that has no idea what they're doing to shim behind this 27 thousandths as a starting point. So I'm gonna do that and probably leave it because I don't know what I'm doing, so we'll see. So I am going to smack this race in on the front because you don't need to remove that one, so you can smack that one in and forget about it. And then off Amazon, I literally just got this race driver kit. It makes it 100 times easier and it's way safer. You won't screw them up. I think it was like 80 bucks. So when you put this in, you just want to put a little bit of gear oil just on the outside of the race. It doesn't have to be a lot. Smack that puppy in and forget about it. So we're gonna hope I don't screw this up. I'd be really sad if I do. Okay. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh no. We're gonna completely ignore that happened. We got the front pinion race in. It looks pretty good. You know, I only screwed it up a little bit, but once you're hitting it, you'll know when it's in all the way. It'll, you know, shatter your hand. So next we need to get the pinion bearing pressed on the pinion. So this piece down here, this is the old pinion bearing. I just cut the center out of it because when you press it in, you want it to contact the this inside lip right here. You do not want it to contact this outer race, whatever you call it. You want it to contact the inside. So I'm gonna do that, and then, you know, hit one of these numbers. Hell yeah, put some gear oil on that, send her home, probably screw it up. You'll see when that's on all the way. It literally snapped into place. Still spins good. By the way, I got this press at Harbor Freight for like 160 bucks and it worked perfect. Okay, now we're gonna get the pinion in. So as you can see right here, you can't see it, but right behind that race, that pinion race right here, I have some shims. And I just matched what was stock. So stock, the shims go behind, right here behind the bearing, but that's a pain in the ass because then you have to pull the bearing on and off. So everybody now, they just shim behind the bearing race. So I put the shims there that match the stock ones that that was behind the bearing. I believe it was 0.029. So once you get those in there, you are going to want to drop in your mock-up race. So that slides right in there, and then you got your bearing pressed on. You're just going to want to lube that up with a little bit of gear oil. It doesn't have to be a ton. Drop that bad girl in there. Okay. Beautiful. Now we're gonna flip this around. The pinion's sitting in there. So next you're gonna wanna throw the bearing on. And then behind this bearing is just this washer. This usually does not come with your gear kit, but it's stock, so just reuse it. And then the old nut. These nuts they're a Stover nut, so they're one-time use. So you don't want to put the new nut on until the very end. This would be helpful if I could get the bearing on. Okay, so I went through the biggest dilemma. I literally have like 3 hours into this, but it's good information that I didn't know, and I had to do a bunch of research. So the kit I bought, the gear kit, said it fit like 93 to 2011 axles. Come to find out, the 2008 to 2010 are different. I guess the pinion length is different. So behind this race right here, or if you don't shim behind the race and you decide to shim behind this bearing, you have to add an extra 120 thousandths of shims. That's the difference between the length of the pinion. So I had to shim behind that an extra 120 thousandths plus the 27 thousandths that's stock that they kind of tell you to do that as a ballpark. Because I just did the 27 thousandths and I would tighten the pinion nut all the way and it wouldn't give me any preload. So if you have the 2008 to 2010 Sterling 10.5 inch, you have to shim an extra 120 thousandths. So back to business after that fiasco. So you put the pinion in, you put the top bearing in, and of course the yoke and the nut. And doing this, you do not want to put the seal in. You want to set the preload without the interference of the seal. So once you have that together, you make a fine little contraption like that with the 1/4 inch torque wrench, and it has to be the manual one. And you turn it like this, and you want the preload to be between 20 and 30 inch-pounds. So right now it's at 0, so we have to tighten it up. But you literally just want to do like an ugga-dugga or two. Just until yeah, so we're literally still at like 1 or 2 inch-pounds, so I gotta go a bunch more. Oh man, that seemed like a lot. Oh. That's actually only at like 10. Okay, we're at like 15. And you want it to be 20 inch-pounds while it's turning, like this. You do not want it to be at 20 inch-pounds just to break loose. You want it to be while it's turning, it should be 20 to 30. 15, so we'll just do a little more. Okay, we're at like 21. I'm debating on whether to do, I'll do one more Ugga Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's still a little low, but that's so crazy. It seems like so much preload. I'm probably doing this like totally wrong. You guys are gonna listen to me and your rear ends are just gonna blow up. I'm just gonna do a bump more. Okay, I'm happy with that. It's at like 26 inch-pounds. So once you get that all squared away, and that's like tight, it's like almost kind of hard to turn with your hand. Probably screwed it up, but you'll find out, 2 months from now when I drive the truck and the rear end falls out of it. So now that we're done with that, we have to get my locker, put the ring gear on it, press the bearings on. Probably gonna screw it up, and we're gonna have to wait another 2 weeks for new bearings and stuff to get here. But you know what, that's just part of the game. All right, so you're just gonna wanna clean off the mating surfaces. Some people were saying that you have to put this in a freezer or heat this up a little bit for it to slip on. But I don't have patience, so we're just gonna go for it. It's almost on, there's just like an 1/8 inch gap on the bottom. So that's when you get your trusty old mallet, And look at that, perfectly flush. You know what I didn't do at all is line up these bolt holes. Oh, thank God it comes right back off though. Stay. All right, we get some red thread locker, not the one that came in the kit. The one that came in the kit literally just looks like Kool-Aid. And I have no idea what these get torqued to. So I'm gonna Google that and let you know. These bolts came covered in like a light coat of oil. And you probably want to clean that off before you do this. But I'm lazy, so I didn't. But do as I say, not as I do. All right, I'm just gonna get a couple of these started. Yep. Already getting cross-threaded. Perfect. Yep. Okay. Oh, We're gonna have to beat this into submission a little bit. Oh, Lord. Okay. Okay, that kind of feels like it's seated. I think it's got to turn a little bit. And, you know, for you guys wondering, this probably isn't how you should do it. But you know what? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Oh, that one kind of went in. Okay. All right. On my brief Google search, it said these get torqued down to 111 foot-pounds, otherwise known as 7 Ugga-Duggas. Now, I know people want you to torque these things, but listen, those people are honestly just losers. So you're just going to want to Ugga-Dugga in it in a crisscross applesauce pattern, you know? Give that a little love. All right, you see that? Now watch. Yeah. Now some of these may be cross-threaded, but as long as they run down, good. All right, clear. I forgot, I lost track of the star pattern. Okay, we're gonna ignore that. That one felt like it stripped out. Okay. See, now you get the preliminary torque spec. You gotta give her the beans, you know? You gotta get a leg up. Yep. Now I lost track of which ones I've done, so I'm just gonna hit a circle. Now, I know the torque spec said 111 foot-pounds, but I did 127. I just, you know, if it doesn't snap and it's still tight, why not, you know? Ring gear installed. And if anybody tells you to do it a different way, they're wrong, all right? All right. Now that we got the ring gear installed, we're going to put the bearings on. And all I have is just the bearing race press disky thing, and we're just gonna press on that. We're gonna hope for the best. Now, if this cuts to like a different video, and you know I'm wearing different clothes, just know it went horribly wrong. Okay. Hold on, I don't think this is tightened all the way. All right. Oh, okay, not centered at all. Let's give that another try. Okay. Perfect. All right. And when you do this, you have to make sure you are pressing on this inner part and that you are not pressing on this outer bearing race because it'll screw it up. All right, we got the other one keyed up here. And if I didn't mention, you do want to put a little bit of oil on the surface where it's getting pressed on. Or if you just like running it dry, you know, screw it. What are you gonna do? All right. All right, once you got the bearings pressed on, you're just gonna wanna put the race over it, and same to the other side, and we're gonna plop her in. It's probably not gonna work, but we're gonna try. Okay, lesson learned, let me show you. So I'm mentally handicapped. They wouldn't go in at first, but you see those prongs right there? Yeah, I didn't have those where they were supposed to be, so it was just sitting on them. You know, you live and you learn though. Now we have to put the shims in. And these were the stock ones. And they go right after the race right there. They look like a pain in the ass to get in. And I don't even know if the stock ones will work. But I'm just gonna put them in. I'm gonna really hope they work. All right, so I'm gonna jam these bad girls in. Yep, something like that. This isn't how you're supposed to do it. All right? Just warning now. You're supposed to use a brass punch, but I don't have that. So, you know, we're going to be gentle about this. Okay. Maybe we need to get one in all the way. Okay, that one's in. That's positive. We're 50% there. That's almost 70, and that's almost passing. So, okay. I'm gonna get my dirty screwdriver. Okay. Give that a couple. Okay. Okay, that's not looking very good. Hold on, she's getting down there. Okay. I'm gonna cross my fingers, but that honestly feels really good. I can feel just a touch of preload, but honestly, I don't know if it's enough. But it is really snug in there, so I'm hoping that's good. Either way, it's gonna blow. It's gonna go or blow. All right. I put the caps on. I don't know the torque spec. I'm gonna give them a couple duggas, you know. .101 foot-pounds that was. Okay. So I got my $20 Amazon whatever the hell that thing's called. And the backlash looks like it's at 7 thousandths. I think that's a little tight from what I've seen. People are more running around 10 thousandths. But honestly, I mean, that's good enough for me. So I'm just gonna put some paint on the gears and pretend like I know what a good pattern looks like and go from there. I'm just really hoping it's good out of the box. It's probably not. But I really don't know what I'm doing, so I feel like if I adjust it, it'll just make it way worse. Alright. I got that all painted up. And people told me to, when I mix the gear paint, just to put a couple drops of gear oil in it. And I did that. I don't know if it made it better. So now I'm gonna spin this. Still don't know what I'm doing. You know, both ways. And once we're done with this, we're gonna look at our pattern. And no matter how it looks, I'm just gonna say it looks amazing. Because I don't know what I'm doing, you know? Okay. Let's look at this thing. All right, so there you can see our pattern. And you know what? I don't know if that's good or bad. I want to say it's shallow because I'm pretty sure the end of this is supposed to be, you see how it comes to a point right there? I think it's supposed to come to a point in the middle, and it's supposed to, from what I've seen, it's supposed to look like a football shape, and this looks more like a half moon. Is that acceptable? I don't know. You know, who really knows? So I've done probably 7 minutes of research, and I'm gonna roll with that pattern. I think it's maybe a little shallow on the pinion, but you know what? I spent the last 7 minutes going through forums, and there was people with patterns that looked a lot worse than this, and they said it was fine. So I'm gonna go with that. So the backlash on this is 7 thousandths, and people were running on these anywhere from 6 thousandths to 15 thousandths. And some people said they like being set up loose, and some people said they like being set up tight. So you know what? Who knows? If I get these gears in and they whine, you know, what are you gonna do? Then I'll pay somebody. But, so we just gotta pull this back out, and we gotta take the pinion out, and then we just have to put the crush sleeve eliminator on it, put the seal in, and plop this crap all back in, and we're done. Until it, you know, comes apart down the highway. All right, so I buttoned up the axle. I tore it apart again. I threw the pinion in. So when you throw the pinion in, I know before we threw it in, and we just had the two bearings and we did not have the crush sleeve. So you literally put it together the same way, but before you put the bearing on the edge on, you just slip the crush sleeve on like that, and then you tighten it the same way, just until you get 20 to 30 inch-pounds. It's gonna be way harder to tighten though, because you have to actually crush the crush sleeve. So you put the pinion in, put the seal in, and then you just tighten it until you get the correct preload. And then when I put the pinion in, I just added like 3 thousandths behind the pinion, the bearing race. Just a little bit, because I think the gear pattern was just a little shallow. But now it's a little deep, but from what I've seen, it's better to be a little deep than shallow. So that should be good to go. And you can see here for the locker, I just ground a groove right here and just RTV the crap out of that and then watch it leak. But that should be it. I've never done this before, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. It's really tedious. I had to, you know, put it together and tear it apart probably 3 times, but good enough. for who it's for. Thank you. This axles are honestly kicking my butt. I really just want to start working on this, you know. I mean, I have a full coilover package for it, full bypass. It's getting coilover and bypass on each corner. I have 40s, bead locks. We're gonna do like a pre-runner 4-link on the back. I have links. I literally have everything for this thing. I'm just literally re-gearing it before I throw them in. And it's kind of kicking my butt. It's taking a while. But hopefully we can get started on that soon. In the next couple videos, we'll see. But thanks for watching.